Top five.
Yeah, girl. You ready to do this? You ready to count this thing down? We're doing the top five, her. Yeah, let's set it off with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ranked Top 5 List of Stuff That Don't Matter. I'm your witchy host today, Tuong Law, and I have a cauldron full of eye of newt and frog legs and bat wings and
old man's toe.
Okay.
Specific hair and blood of their victims.
Okay, yeah.
Salamander tail.
That's it. I have a very exciting episode for you all today. I know Halloween, as of this recording, or when this episode comes out, it will be technically be over by like a week, but it's still spooky season in our hearts. So we're going to continue with the spooky feels for today's episode, and I'm going to introduce my first guest today, who has flown all the way here for this podcast, so I've been told. Also, which we're talking about Simone Dorie.
Hello.
Simone Dorie.
Yes.
But, you know, I gotta witchify your name.
Catch me on a bad day. It might be a bit gory.
Okay.
That's correct.
I was trying to think of like some fun, scary puns in your name, and I can only think of Sabone Gory. I don't know if I want to put bone in your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Thanks.
Simone, how are you doing?
I am doing all right. I've noticed that since we decided to do a witch podcast, I think I've put a curse on my family.
Yeah, you said that when you walked in, and I'm like, you got to save it.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us now? Or?
I mean, sure. So I was in Toronto earlier today, and I hopped on an early morning train to get back home, and it seems as though someone walked onto the tracks, and so we had to stop the train for like an hour, which is horrific, and not because of the time delay, but because my heart hurt for said individual. And then my poor mother, who is in her 60s, took a very hard tumble on the pavement today. She's doing all right. She's home and she's resting. And then my brother was driving back from a bachelor party, and his truck broke down on the middle of the highway in Mississauga. And then the worst thing of all is my sweet baby puppy has a tummy ache.
Oh, that's the worst out of all of it.
It's so sad. It's so sad. It's been like a crazy, crazy, crazy day.
Wow.
And now we're ending it with more witchy things, so...
Maybe that's why the bad things happened, because
Yeah.
we didn't record this podcast in advance, but we had to wait until like the dead of night.
Yeah.
When it's spooky to record this.
Maybe.
Wow. Okay. Hopefully this podcast will turn it all around, Simone. Do you want to introduce the next guest beside you?
I, of course, would love
You got to give them a spooky name, though.
Oh, don't worry. It's already brewing. Okay, so the person to my left is, of course, the only person I would love to have in my coven. It's Braeden!
Oh my god. Hello, it's me, Braeden.
Braeden? Do you have a last name for Braeden?
Sorry, I couldn't spookify it. So.
It's a hard one to speak.
That is a hard one.
Yeah.
Etienne.
Etienne.
Etienne tomorrow.
At the end of
Etienne.
life.
Yeah, okay. Let's go with that. Braeden, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Are you having a spooky day?
If pleasant, warm walks in the woods with your dog is scary.
Etienne.
Oh, God, that's good.
I was cleaning my car. It is very rusty.
Yeah.
Is that spooky?
Braeden actually drove us on the way here, and it was making a weird noise that it felt like the car was going to fall apart at any moment.
It was just the tape flapping from my rearview mirror.
Yeah, don't worry.
If anyone's getting a picture of my car, it's very spooky.
Don't worry, guys. It's just the tape that's holding Braeden's windows together.
Yeah. Yes.
Braeden, do you want to introduce the last final member of this coven?
Yes. I envy this person for their witchy knowledge. And I mean this with the highest regard, witchy vibe even sometimes. It is Hayley Kellett, or Scaly.
Kill it.
Kill it.
I will kill you with my amphibian skin. Yes, it's me, Scaly Kellett.
That's actually
Hayley,
probably the
Kellett.
best name we've come up with.
That's
Take
fine.
it.
That's
I'll-
really good.
That's good.
I'll
That's
state
good.
all of my handles all across social media. Scaly Kellett.
Scaly Kellett, how are you doing today?
I'm good. We're in my house. I lit some incense called Guidance for the podcast. My two familiars are here with me, Romulus and Flick.
Oh, yeah. So you might hear some cat noises in the background, but we want it to happen.
Yeah. Meow. Are you gonna meow back?
Meow, meow.
Meow.
Meow, meow.
No, they're chilling.
Yeah, they're just having a good time.
Yeah, looking out into the abyss.
And we're about to have a great time because we're going to talk about witches today, everyone. Top 5 witches. Now, some of you at home are going to be like, well, Tuong, back in episode 40-something, you did a top 5 wizards episodes. Completely different.
Yeah,
This is
very
witches.
different.
Yeah, come on,
different.
severed tongue.
I love that. That should also go in the cauldron. Yeah, no, today we're going to focus primarily on witches. I gave you guys a huge list of a bunch of different topics, and you all were very keen on witches. So let's hear it. Why witches?
I mean, witches are powerful, present in the past and currently. I feel drawn to this community, and right now I'm on a witch kick. I went through a vampire kick where I was like, all right, bring back the Anne Rice books. Let's go. I actually watched Twilight, and now I need a birthday cake covered in edible glitter that says, this is the skin of a killer, Bella. I need one. But now I'm very much enjoying listening to stories about witches and reading the folklore.
Oh, fun. Oh, your nominations are going to be crazy. Hayley. I can
maybe.
tell already.
We'll see.
I can tell.
We'll
Simone, you were really also drawn to witches as well.
Yeah, they're just like misunderstood, man. And I feel like witches for the longest time have been just, it's often, like, I guess in the real witches, if you will, are usually women who don't have children, are older, are hard to tame, and the men in charge are like, I banish thee to the forest outside of the village and you will be an old ugly hag. And
Every
it's-
time.
Yeah, and it's just like, no, and they find their coven and they're together and it's powerful women and sometimes they kill men, but
Often they kill men.
But they kind of deserve it.
they do. And if I'm going to be on anybody's side, it's the witches' side.
All right, fair enough. Braeden, witches, thoughts?
Yes, man here.
Man about to be killed here.
Yes, I echo everything that has already been said about witches. I think there's a fascinating history to witches as well that we, can look back on. Salem witch trials, it's very tied to feminism and those movements as well. So there's always a lot to glean socially from witches that I always find fascinating.
Totally. And I think that's what's going to make today's list a lot different than our top 5 wizards episode, where the wizards episode, we also included witches for that one. It was really kind of muddy, our rules for that one. Yeah.
We're clear today, though. We're
Kind
clear.
of always are a little muddy, but it was like usually it was like magic users get to be part of the wizards group, where witches have their own specific thing about them that make them witches. Like I was reading today about the differences between witches and sorceresses, and that seems like a little bit beyond my knowledge, but it sounds like to me, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but witches like have like an innate power, like kind of, I'm not going to say evil, but it usually comes from like darkness a
There's
little bit.
this. What my understanding with witches is there is an organic, genetic, just power that you have, coupled with study and wanting to learn and practice magic. Where I think sorcerers are exclusively, and please, internet, don't yell at me.
They will.
I think sorcerers are all about study and learning,
Yes.
where witches are born with.
Okay,
something.
we're on the same page. That's exactly
Yeah.
what I read on it too. So that's who we're talking about today. Let's talk about some ground rules then. I mean, if someone says a sorceress, I guess, on this podcast, I'm not going to say anything about that. Okay.
You can back it up.
If you can back it up.
Yeah.
Then I'm
If you can
down.
back it up.
I'm down.
But you know what? Men aren't witches. So no men.
Bye, boys.
It's a no boys club for
boys
today's
club.
nominations. What other ground rules do we want to go through today?
Well, I feel like witches can either be from like the TV show, television, that's the same thing, movie realm, folklore, or real life
Yeah.
Yeah.
Historical witch.
I'm down with fictional and non-fictional witches.
Yeah.
That was a great way to sum up the rant I just said.
Real ones
You know,
and fake
TV, television, Netflix.
Broadcasting stations.
Video games.
Yes, all those
also.
things. Comics, it's all those things.
Yeah.
But I think that was a fascinating thing because when you posted that in the chat, Simone, you're like, are non-fictional witches allowed or what? Real witches is what the word you use. And I didn't even consider real witches. Yeah, real witch, any witch. If it's a witch, it's allowed. It'll be fun to...
Which witch?
Which witch is which? It'll be fun to pit like a real witch versus like a fictional witch and just see what happens.
Are we going to also play Super Fight Witch Edition on this podcast?
Yeah, maybe.
Now we are.
Maybe. I will just say, if it is a real witch, we're not going to say it's like my aunt dressed up as a witch for Halloween and she thinks she's a witch only on Halloween. I don't know.
If you can back it up. If you can show me why she's a witch, if she's practicing Wicca, like all these different reasons.
Okay,
But I do like the idea of like my mom has a hat not being okay.
Yes.
None of that.
But also, I think if you have a real life witch versus a fake made up witch, in this scenario, those two may duel, and it's not like, well, mine's real.
Yeah.
And yours is written.
Mine is
Sure.
made of flesh and bone, and the other witches go, magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can all fight.
Oh, another
all
one is
fight.
that I think some witches can be grouped together if they make sense to be grouped together.
Yes.
Yes, it is a classic thing that witches come in groups of 3. You can see this throughout history, fiction, everywhere. There are groups.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely
certain
fine.
there's going to be a trio in here that...
Oh, it's a trope
for
for
it's going
witches.
to be in here.
Yes.
And that's fine.
Yes.
Because they only work as a trio.
They would count as one.
They count as one.
So
I would
many
count that.
examples of
Yes.
groups of 3.
I'm curious, like, maybe this is a conversation down the line, but as we're ranking them, are we looking at, like, the power these witches hold? Who's the most powerful witch? Who is the most kind of outside the box, unique
I
kind
mean,
of
it's
witch?
all part of the arguments that we'll have.
Okay.
I think it might be like a hodgepodge of that. Like, I think there might be our final list with, like, maybe someone who's more powerful but is lacking in some area, and then the other areas might make it up.
I'm already very excited
You know?
about this podcast.
Psyched.
I feel like we should be doing this in the dark.
Oh my! I can turn the lights off.
But then I can't see your faces.
Well, I can turn my lamp on and turn my overhead lights off, but my headphones are plugged in and I can't get up.
If only we had our witchy powers to turn all these lights off.
Zap!
Should we just get into it then? I think today's episode will be a lot different than our fish episode that we did.
And I'm playing a secret game throughout this podcast.
Okay.
I just want to test a theory that I will reveal at the end because I learned a fun fact about witches and I want to see how often it happens.
I'm excited about this. All right. Let's just get into it then. Just like every episode of Ranked, we're going to go around 3 times, nominating 3 nominations each, making a master list of 12, and whittling that down to a top 5 witches list. Here we go. First witch. It's going to be an easy one. I'm gonna start off strong, but easy. But I think she deserves to be on this list. I am talking about a certain sea witch who has stolen the voice of a mermaid. She is a frightening octopus-like creature. We're talking about Ursula, the sea witch from Little Mermaid.
Yeah, Caeciliia.
Is that what it is?
Half octopus, half human. I think Cecaelia.
She is so cool. I think she's, well, she's also frightening. I was very scared of her as a child. And she dies very violently in The Little Mermaid. She gets like, Prince Eric literally stabs her with a boat and then she like dies, but it's super epic because she turns into the giant version of herself. She's
It's
like,
awesome.
oh, she like turns full kaiju at the end of the movie.
She's one of my top villains of all time.
Oh, that's another
whole
podcast.
thing.
That's another podcast.
Yeah.
Ursula, Simone, you look jaw dropped.
Well, I don't think I knew that it ended that violently in The Little Mermaid.
Go back and watch it. It is a thunderstorm nightmare scene.
Yeah.
Very haunting.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not super familiar with Ursula. Do you mind giving us a run through of maybe her powers or what magic she shows?
Well, she's very manipulative. She has a lot of powers that I would say are not completely defined. But one of the things that she does do is steal the voice of Ariel. She transforms herself into a version of Ariel so that she can end up with Prince Eric. And then eventually she gets found out and, she does eventually die and stuff like that. But her whole plan is to also like steal the trident from King Trident and kind of be the ruler of it all.
Did you know that Ursula the Sea Witch in the Disney movie, the characterization is modeled off the drag queen Divine?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so modeled off the drag queen Divine. And originally, in the Hans Christian Andersen story, she's not evil. She's a neutral witch that just wants to. She's a neutral body that helps people.
Yeah,
doesn't
she doesn't
always
do that
cause
in a Disney
evil.
film.
No, they made her quite nuts.
evil, and she has 2 electric eels.
Moray eels.
Moray eels?
Yeah, they're more dangerous.
Flotsam and
You know how I
Jetsam?
feel about eels.
That's why I wanted to end on that one. So
Not my
Simone's
fish,
like,
fish.
Ursula, yeah.
I'm in now.
Yeah, she's quite evil, and we will have a lot to say about her later. Simone, what's your first nomination?
Okay, for my first nomination, I want to pick one that I think is going to get snatched up fast, possibly. And that is one who is from medieval times. This is a folklore who's been in many different movies and video games. This is Baba Yaga.
I love that you picked Baba Yaga. The creepiest headquarters for any witch, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So the headquarters in question, it's a cabin on chicken legs that continues to spin until she says a phrase. Do you know the phrase? I don't know the phrase.
I don't know the phrase,
I don't know
but
the
it's
phrase.
supposed to emulate like a mortar and pestle, right? Like
So
she's
that's
grinding up the spices of the bones of the dead.
That's what she flies on.
Yes.
So instead of a broom, Baba Yaga will come to you within the mortar and sweeping with the pestle. And it's a hilarious image of someone flying in on a bowl, which is a lot less intimidating than a broom for some reason, like a fun guacamole witch. But
Yes, that's what they were going for in these Slavic fairy tales, is a
Yes.
fun guacamole witch.
yes, well, it's actually, I think, because like Slavic women would use it to do a lot of their chores, and so I think that's why she rides it. But in my head, it's party time every time Baba Yaga comes.
Baba Yaga is so amazing and is like genuinely one of these classic witches that keep showing up. She's her own category. There's no other witch quite like Baba Yaga, but also is kind of this. There's like the hag tropes that exist.
Right.
But she's also got this heart to her. So like a lot of the stories, like I'll tell you one little story. Let me tell you a little tiny little witchy story. So Baba Yaga basically is known to be like of the underworld, but also the heavens, like ruler of elements associated with like strong winds and also the devil. And so she's got like around her spinning chicken leg cabin is like human bones. People are like, ooh, maybe cannibal, but basically, there was this father who sent his daughter as a servant to Baba Yaga, and Baba Yaga was like, do all of these chores. So she did all these chores with little mice. It was very Cinderella-esque. And then Baba Yaga just rewarded her with like a bunch of wealth, and she became very rich. And then the evil stepmother came and saw that the servant stepdaughter was very rich and wealthy, and she went and murdered the mice that helped her and didn't do all of her chores. So Baba Yaga snapped her into a bunch of pieces and put her in a box.
So
and buried
classic. Oh,
her.
man.
So she does have some heart. And there's like a few other stories of that where like the servant comes and does very well, does all of her chores and all of that thing. And then like 2 more evil stepsisters come, and she was looking for light, and they gave her a light with it was like a skull with burning fire eyes.
Oh, that's creepy.
And they brought it back, and the 2 evil stepsisters were like, oh, you got light, thank you so much. And then the one good servant daughter was like, yeah, here's my skull light. And then a fire came out of the eyes and incinerated the evil stepsisters, but not the good one.
So Baba Yaga was the one who gave that thing?
Yeah, Baba Yaga gave the light.
So she has a heart. It's
So
just a
she
little
has
violent
a
in the way
heart.
she handles it.
Yeah, like a very aggressive Peter Pan nurse. Not Peter Pan, who's the good one? Robin Hood. Robin Hood?
Peter Pan's also
Peter Pan's
Is he?
maybe actually is Peter Pan like chaotic neutral?
Yeah, you know, like,
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
but Robin Hood's like the stealing and the giving
Yeah.
glitches,
Yeah,
and you know
yeah.
that vibe.
Yeah, this is a classic tale of misunderstood witches, right? Like
Exactly.
Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
I do like a good neutral witch, like you were saying about Ursula. Like, I think when they live in that zone of, they can use their powers for good or evil. It depends on who's coming for them, who's asking.
Yeah.
I like that neutrality. Great pick.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great
Yeah.
pick. Braeden,
Oh boy.
here we go. What do you got? First nomination. First witch.
Well, it was interesting you brought up sorceress's witch debate, because the first witch I want to bring up
is a sorceress?
is a humanoid sorceress from space.
What?
Who is it?
Her name is Rita Repulsa.
Oh, yeah, I would count her. She's totally witch energy.
If you're not familiar with Rita Repulsa, she is the main antagonist in the Power Rangers franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yes.
So about 10,000 years ago, Zordon, who is the leader of the Power Rangers, imprisoned her in a space dumpster. And she lived for 10,000 years in this space dumpster until she...
terrible.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And she crashed on the moon, where she established a base and declared war against Zordon. Zordon rallied together a bunch of teenagers who became the Power Rangers.
Teenagers with attitude.
Yeah. Oh, big attitude.
Yeah.
So she's, like her trademark power is she stands on the moon, and when the evil monsters that she makes with her friend Finster aren't doing well, she'll make them giant.
Yeah, it's a classic
the
bad guy
kaiju.
move.
Yes,
Yeah, the kaiju
exactly.
move. Yeah.
Wow.
But I did some math, and when she makes them giant, she goes, "Make my monster grow!" And she throws her sphere, or her scepter. I
Whatever, her
suppose.
staff
Yes,
thing.
she wears as a staff. She throws it from the moon
Oh my goodness.
to the earth.
Yeah, and directly to, like, that monster.
No, not even to the monster, to the exact same spot of dirt every time, because I think the
That is
producers just
accuracy.
use the same
Oh, yeah.
B-roll every time. It's a very...
Amazing. Yes, yes.
But I did the math. In order to launch a scepter, it takes about 3 seconds for that scepter to get from the moon to Earth. That scepter needs to be traveling at 1/3 the speed of light.
Oh.
So just with her arm, in her body, like not even magic, she's already, capable of this.
Wow.
Terrifying.
So she should have been a football player.
Yeah, she should have been a football player, maybe used her powers for good. But she also was the creator of the Green Ranger, who was the evil Power Ranger who defeated all 5 Power Rangers.
Tommy, yeah.
Tommy. She has an army of putties that she sicks on the Power Rangers. Also, by the end of the series, and I just Wikipedia'd this, but she becomes the Mystic Mother. So while she is a very
does that mean?
evil witch, by the end of the episode, she has a redemption arc. She becomes the biggest force of good
Yes.
in all of the
Oh,
universe.
I don't even... I watched so much Power Rangers, I don't remember that.
This is another classic witch story arc of,
Yes.
of transitioning from good to evil or vice versa.
Yes.
Power Rangers.
She also bangs one... Hang on, let me
Lord
say-
Zed,
Lord
you're
Zed.
referring to Lord Zed.
Lord
But she was very intentional. She made a love potion in order to become married to Lord Zed so that she could usurp him. That
Yeah.
was her plan.
Yeah.
But then she ended up falling in love with Lord Zed. That's not very good for the anti-patriarchy kind of lens I think we're going for.
No,
with,
of course.
with Rita, but she's very powerful.
She's very cool.
Just an
This is
arm
a
on
really
her alone.
left turn nomination. I
Yeah.
think she counts as a witch.
I would
don't-
say so.
I think she's more witch than sorceress.
Well, I mean, having never seen Power Rangers, I think that's a witch.
Yeah.
That's a witch.
My witch thinks is
Here's a new segment where Simone goes, "That's a witch."
That's a witch.
That's a witch.
She sounds like a witch. She talks like a witch. She acts like a
Oh, we
witch.
gotta show Simone a picture of this. She has an amazing costume.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, I think I
here.
did come across this in a little googly goop,
Yeah.
but wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
Look
she
at
wears
that.
like this amazing headdress.
And a mean smoky eye.
Oh yeah.
Also, one of the greatest in season 1, she was played by a different actress, and in season 2, she did a spell on herself to make herself, I think it was like 10,000 years younger. So a new actress who was younger,
Smart. Smart.
and looked in the mirror, and then they transitioned the actor. but yeah,
Magic mirrors. There's so many connections with this Power Rangers witch to like Grimhild, which I love.
yes, and yeah,
great.
she just had a random assortment of powers. She can do pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Do it all.
She can do it all.
and she's from space.
And she's from space. And Elizabeth Banks plays her in the reboot.
Oh yes, I didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
In the reboot, she
it's a
eats
whole-
gold and
Very,
becomes
yeah, it's a weird thing.
yeah. Turn, but
Wow,
I want to eat gold. Yeah.
Oh my
Hayley,
gosh. All
first
right.
witch.
It is the number one witch. I'm telling you right now, it's Hecate.
oh,
Hecate is the
Hecate.
goddess of magic, witchcraft, the night, moon, ghosts, and necromancy. And many, if not all, modern witches, pagans, and Wiccans see Hecate as the goddess of witches and continue to worship and reference her for thousands of years. This is ongoing. All of the witches that you've described probably have quoted Hecate. Willow Rosenberg frequently quotes her. Quoted in Bewitched for Hecate's sake, Medea, the priest, is a priestess of Hecate. She appears in Charm. She's quoted in Practical Magic. Black as night, erase death from our sight. White as light, mighty Hecate, make it right. Willow Rosenberg, as I mentioned, she describes Hecate as the queen and protectress of witches. She's an American Horror Story Coven, the weird sisters of Macbeth. Hecate is their master. She is the ultimate witch, the head honcho.
She is the witch?
This is Jinx Monsoon when she wins All Stars, season winners of winners, literally thanks Hecate, and she is a practicing Wicca.
So do you ever see Hecate, or is it always just you're thanking Hecate?
Hecate, I think the name literally translates to like working from afar, so is not there in the trenches, but is doing things and manipulating things as often witches do from out of sight.
She's like witch god.
Yeah,
like a witch
she's
god.
the goddess of
she's
witches.
Okay.
The ultimate witch. Also, potentially the daughter of Zeus.
I was just going to say a
There's-
Zeus thing. Yeah.
It's Greek mythology, right?
It is
There's
Greek?
so much
Okay.
stuff. So there's a bunch of different stories about her origin. So one is that maybe Papa Zeus, and the other is that she was one of the Titans.
Oh.
Okay.
And was the only one of the Titans that was able to retain her power afterwards.
Wow.
So
Okay.
the Hecate.
Do you ever, do you know what she looks like? Has she ever been like materialized
There
in
are
a thing?
statues and carvings and pieces of art where she's typically
what's she look
described
like?
as hiding her face with torches. There's always this air of mystery around Hecate. But yes, picture like your classic kind of Greek goddess, the robes, but face hidden with
Yeah.
torches.
Torches.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that air of mystery is very witchy. Like,
Yeah.
there's always a mystery around the witch, and they don't really give all their secrets.
Hecate. Have you, Simone, Braeden, have you heard of Hecate before?
No, but that's a witch.
That's a witch right there. She's also got familiars. She's got two really badass familiars. One is Hecuba the dog. And this is a dog who was the queen, the Trojan queen who leapt into the sea after the fall of Troy, became her dog, her familiar. So she's got a witch as a familiar. And her other one is a polecat who, was the witch Gale, who as punishment was turned into a cat, and then Hecate adopted her out of sympathy.
Oh, wow.
What is a polecat?
A kind of cat, I think. A big cat.
A very long cat.
Very long cat. Very long cat.
Yeah.
Cat does a lot of surveys.
Yeah. It's a state dance. Oh no,
Not a
a
house
European
cat.
polecat. I looked it up. Polecat, any of several weasel-like carnivores. Skunks, minks, others.
That makes sense. Pole-like.
That's a cat.
But so cool. I genuinely believe that when we're talking about witchcraft, if I didn't mention Hecate,
I've
Yeah.
never heard of Hecate, so I love this
Yeah.
already. All right.
Yep.
Round two of witches. Wow. What a strong start to our witches. I'm going to nominate a trio, I think.
ooh,
It's
which
time.
one? Which one?
I think there's only one
think it's
that I feel like has to be on the list. I feel very strongly about this trio. I think the trio is from a little cult classic movie that just got its sequel like days ago as of this recording. The Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus.
Of course.
a classic
They're
trio.
just-
Witches are back.
Okay, I gotta say something.
Bette Midler?
Oh my god. Sarah Jessica Parker. My god. Everyone had a crush on her. But the three of them are just amazing. They play off so well with each other. They're so delightfully family friendly evil, I think. So. And yeah, I haven't seen the second one yet, but I will say I posted about it in our work Slack channel. I was like, hey, I'm a low key like Hocus Pocus fan. This is like the movie channel. And I'm like, I'm a low key Hocus Pocus fan. Anyone else excited for the second movie? Crickets. Nobody.
What?
Nobody. That's why anyone from work listening, I'm disappointed in you.
We're all disappointed.
Come on.
I'm especially disappointed.
I just saw Hocus Pocus for the first time, like the first one, 2 days ago.
And
And I sobbed at the end. I was like, this holds up. Because I didn't grow up watching very many movies. It's not something like my family did. It was never like, I don't know, I just haven't seen many movies. So sometimes these like cult classics that people grew up with don't really translate when you're older and you don't have that like nostalgic factor. But this, when Thackeray becomes a boy again and his soul is freed and Emily is like, what took you so long? I was like, oh. And I started like bawling and was so attached to it. And I did watch the second one, and I
did?
thought it was wonderful.
The second one's good?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
I really thought they did a good
I'm glad
job.
the three of them came back because that's fun. Hey, what's your favorite Hocus Pocus memory?
The wigs. I like their wigs. Is that wrong? I just think the costumes are so fun.
good.
I remember being mesmerized by the visuals of that movie.
This is a really good Disney like bully in that movie. What I remember, just
Yes.
right at the start, they steal his shoes, I believe.
Yeah, I forget what their name. Ice and something.
Yeah, just classic Disney.
It's been a while. It's been a while for me.
Yeah, they're very like, give me your Halloween candy.
Yeah.
And again, a classic demonstration of this very typical thing of witches existing in groups of three.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, they're such a fun group of three,
They're
too.
a great group of three. I mean, we see groups of
chemistry.
three in Charmed, the Weird Sisters, Macbeth, Hocus Pocus, The Craft, Banjo-Kazooie has a group of three
Oh my
wizards,
God.
witches.
Which might make it in the list. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Simone, what do you have?
Okay, next up, I have a duo, and they are the lovely pair from Practical Magic. We have
What's that?
Oh, okay. I love this question because not many of my friends know Practical Magic at all. It's a 1998 movie. It's when I was born, and it's
It's the
Sandra.
first thing you watched when you were born.
Yes, I opened my eyes and it was like, Practical Magic, fresh out the womb. The doctors were playing it, and anyways, we all get where that joke's going. It's Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
And they are witch sisses. And basically, they have like this curse on their family where whoever they fall in love with dies. The man they fall in love with dies, and it's so sad and blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying not to explain the entire movie to you, but basically one of them falls in love deeply and her husband dies and she goes into deep depression. The other one gets into like an abusive relationship and they end up accidentally killing him by trying to like drug him to put him to sleep, and then they have to like, they try to bring him back to life, which is the spell that Hayley said earlier. He comes back and then they kill him twice, and it's this whole thing, and then he possesses her, and these sisters are like very much bonded. It's very much like the sisterhood of witches, and they're like, what I like about them is they're your average woman, it seems, but they also practice witchcraft and just like have that innate power. So one of them like is kind of against it and doesn't want to practice witch power, but she still can use it when she has to like protect her sister. And then the other one's like really into it and is a little more on the darker side. And it's just like very cool to see them like own a lotion shop instead of like a potion shop, and they just like
A
sell
lotion
shampoo
shop. I love
and
this.
they're like skin lotions, and they're just like, they're still ostracized from the town in the sense that everyone, well, they yell witch, you're a bitch. And they're like, they're very like the weird ones, and so they're trying to get away from that, and the other moms in the town like don't like them. But at the end, when one of them is possessed, they all have to come together, and it's like all of the women from the town who are sort of like, you know, against these witches and are judging them and think they're above them, they all come over and help because they need the coven. They need the like 9 or 11 or whatever it is women to get rid of this and curse and lift it. And all these women come together and they're able to lift the curse, and their love reigns, and they put the demon to sleep. And it's just very beautiful, women coming together in a more modern setting, which I really appreciated. And I love those sisters very much. And the movie has so many plot holes, and it's amazing. Like, it's very chaotic.
What are their names?
Yeah, I need this for my side game.
What are their names? So it's I think her name's Sally and Jill.
Okay.
Jilly.
All right.
They call her
Doesn't seem
Jilly and Sally. That's what they call each other. So I'm like,
Those would be
They're not
names
very-
then.
They're not very witchy names.
no, what's
Sally
their
and
last
Jilly?
name? I forget their last name.
Sally and Jilly.
Sally.
Sally can
Jillian.
be witchy.
Yeah.
Practical magic.
Sally.
It's no scaly Kellett, I'll tell you.
It is not.
That's funny.
Oh, Owens is their last name.
Owens.
Oh, it's okay. So
Yeah.
their names are Sally.
Sally and Jillian
Owens.
The
Owens.
Owens sisters. And then
The Owen sisters does sound a little witchy, though.
yeah, it's
And
a little
then
witchy.
the Sanderson sisters were Winifred, Sarah, and Mary, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
Kathy Najimy's, which is, what's her name? Yeah, I think that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Haley, you seem to be up to some very witchy business over there.
I'm playing a secondary game in my head, and so far, 1, 2, 3 out of 5, I'm right.
I just love that you're winning this game that no one knows.
I will reveal it once we've
Okay.
said everything.
Perfect.
I'm curious. I want to dial back to the lotions for a second. Are these magical lotions, or is it just like a front where they're selling Just regular lotion.
It's just regular,
Just regular lotion.
It is just, you got like
Not even a bad pun on potions.
Not even love
no,
lotion
you have
or
like
anything like
crusty
that.
legs. Then like, well, the thing is too, which I think like often witches are also like the apothecary. Like they're very in tune with the elements and like the earth, and they often have like healing gardens. So it's the healing side of witches that you don't often see. So it's not necessarily like this is actual magic, but it's like here are the herbs that you take for those ailments and those conditions that will genuinely
she's a different
just
type of witch thing.
help you. Like they also can like she'll blow on a candle and it'll light, or she'll like zippity zap zap. But it's practical magic, you guys.
It's very
The
good.
name of the movie, okay?
Yes, yes.
Is practical magic just science?
A little flair.
We'll find out. We'll find
Braeden.
All right. Well, I want to maybe bring it to a real witch here for a moment.
Bring it to a real
Do it.
This real witch's name was Ellie Kedward. She lived in Burkittsville, Maryland back in 1785. And around 1785, there were reports from children that Ellie had been practicing witchcraft. And after a bunch of children in town went missing,
Classic.
Ellie was put to death. She was hung in the forest with like weights tied to her, which like stretched her limbs down from a tree. So very grotesque. But the creepy thing was, about a year later, half the children in the town disappeared. All of her accusers disappeared.
Yes.
And then there was nothing. And then the rest of the townsfolk kind of just left that town. It was a ghost town. 100 years later, it was starting to kind of get reestablished, but another girl named Robin Weaver went missing in the woods. The search party that went to look for her was found dead on
of them?
Coffin Rock. Yes, ritualistically killed.
On Coffin Rock.
Coffin Rock.
Could not be perfect.
Wow.
Is this in Maine? Did Stephen King write this?
Maryland, so potentially same kind
All right.
of zone.
Okay.
So these 5 people were dead, but Robin Weaver, the girl who went missing, showed up after this. She was still alive, and she said a woman who was floating off the ground had led her into the woods.
Stop it. I'm getting the...
And when they went back to Coffin Rock, the bodies were gone.
I love this. I love this. Ellie Kedward.
And
So cool.
Nothing
Very good.
happened until the 1940s. So in Burkittsville, then this man named Rustin Parr started abducting and killing children. And he ended up confessing to his crimes. And when he confessed, he said an old woman had made him do it.
Stop it.
This is so good. This is so good because there's so much folklore about like witches coming to you in your dreams, like the old head
Yes.
classic. This is like a sleep paralysis dream when they sit on you and tell you to do things. Oh, I love
And
it.
this is the creepiest part of it.
Oh, there's
The
more.
creepiest part?
Yeah.
Or the creepiest part?
This is the creepiest
We haven't even
part.
got to it yet. Oh my god.
So in the late 90s,
Recent.
a documentary crew went out into the woods to see if they could learn more about this witch, and the documentary crew actually ended up going missing.
No.
Yes.
They find the footage.
Yeah, that's what I
They
want.
did find the footage, and it was released as a movie known as The Blair Witch Project.
Yes. This is why I knew this story.
Okay.
So good.
The Blair Witch Project, where we saw the fate of those campers. One was they were all killed.
Wow.
And yeah, they went mad in the woods. Of course, the Blair Witch Project is a fictional tale, and everything I just told you is also part of the lore of the Blair Witch Project, but all of you thought it was real.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of you thought
tricked
it
me.
was real. I tricked
love
all of
it.
you like
So
a
your
witch.
nomination is still Ellie.
No, it's the Blair Witch. And the reason I'm nominating the Blair Witch is because even with no one ever even seeing what this witch looks like, there's no footage or drawings of this, it is still one of the most terrifying witches. And you were all saying it got
Yeah.
goosebumps.
It's a good one.
Because the legend surrounding it could be real. So that's why...
Right.
That's what I love
tricked
about it.
us.
I know.
That's a
Well,
very
they
witchy thing to
tricked.
do.
That's how they marketed the movie. That's
Yeah,
how they did it.
it's
They
true.
made it
Classic.
seem real, and everyone bought into the fact that this could be real.
The found footage thing just took off from there, right?
Yes.
Like that's where like Paranormal Activity launched, Cloverfield, like
Yes.
all because of Blair Witch was so popular.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because there's something scary about not seeing the monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when it's most terrifying.
Our
is when you
imaginations are
don't
way
see
worse
the
than
monster.
anything we can write
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, most of the time when they reveal the monster, you're like, that looks kind of goofy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all that lore I just read was that's the story of the Blair Witch.
Love it.
And
Wow.
it's obviously very creepy. And,
Nice.
Yeah.
Very creepy.
I'm creeped.
Pure evil witch.
I'm
great.
creeped.
Yeah.
Creep, creep,
Deeply
creep.
creepy.
And I'm a creep. Okay, Haley, what do you have?
Willow Danielle Rosenberg.
Oh, yes.
Willow, come on. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with Willow Rosenberg. Easily the best character on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Easily.
Easily the most powerful character
she's a
on
witch.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer when she's a witch. Also a great story about like just the contrast they do about Willow's journey with magic in contrast to addiction, and how we were talking about these arcs of witches who start off really good and then transition to evil, and then by the end of her story, spoiler alert, everybody who hasn't watched Buffy, she is the one that saves the world at the end, and she taps into the goddess Hecate.
Oh, yeah.
And taps into this good magic and literally saves the world from the apocalypse.
She also becomes a goddess in that moment
Yes,
herself.
it's so good. She's self-taught. She's got the classic witch things of a natural ability and then also lots and lots of research. And I mean, Willow and Tara share one of the first queer kisses.
I know. I was just going to say that. One of
On
the
television
first,
in 2001. It was really iconic and this spiritual queer awakening for a lot of people from my generation. So I just personally am like, oh, Willow, I feel seen. And I love this character.
Her vengeance for Tara was also some of the best.
Gosh,
Yeah.
so amazing. The bored now moment when she rips the skin off
Yes.
Warren. Like, just the incredible power she has when she's Dark Willow, and then the incredible restraint and knowledge that she has as she's moving through this story. I just think she fought a god and won.
She's a great witch.
She's a
I was
great-
hoping you'd say her. Well, you referenced her a few times before you even nominated her, so
Yeah, I
I
love her
feel
so
like
much.
she would come.
her.
Do you know Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Do I know?
Do you know Buddy?
Buffy, I have seen a few episodes,
you didn't watch it out of the
but
womb?
I did not watch it. It was not playing in the doctor's office upon arrival in 1998. It was
No, it would have been
not.
too early, I think, for that.
1998,
Yeah,
Simone.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
You're glowing.
Thank you.
I love it.
yeah,
Just the baby.
great nomination, Haley. I think
Willow Rosenberg.
I'm glad she made the list.
The
That's-
goddess moment saving the world was very impactful. Hearing that for the first time, also.
Yeah,
so.
it's good.
I think since shows like, and I don't know for sure because I don't watch it, but shows like Riverdale have been trying to do stuff like that, which
Yeah.
is like, I don't think doesn't sound like they're doing a good job with that.
It's fine.
It's
Are there
fine.
witches in Riverdale?
I don't know what's happening in that
No.
show. I don't follow it. Sounds like a lot of magic powers.
Yeah,
for
there's-
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much magic and mystical stuff comes up in the Archie comics in general. There's a whole spin-off where Archie and the gang are fighting zombies and monsters.
Oh, yeah.
All these sorts of
Archie's weird, man.
Archie's
I did
super
not
weird.
know that.
They
Yeah.
go in all of the directions.
Very cool.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Riverdale, but there's all these new ones. I'm like, oh yeah, they're dark, gritty, sexy teen pulp things.
I just remember. Well, let me go into the next round of nomination, and I'll tie it back to Riverdale.
Oh yeah.
I would like to nominate the whole
Please.
cast of Riverdale.
My next nomination is Riverdale.
Not a witch.
I typed out my guess, and I want to see if I'm right.
For my nomination?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Are you guessing what
phone of
I
secrets.
would, like everyone would nominate? Or
No,
how you
based on how you've set it up, I have a guess in mind.
You have it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just go left turn then. No, I don't know. I there's so many good witches out there. This is actually like tough to really nail it down. I don't know anymore. Now oh God, I don't know.
Follow your heart. Trust your heart. Trust your heart.
I'm trying to see what we'll play with in this room too, because like this could be tough. This could be tough. You know what? I will go a different route, I think, than what I was going to do. I'll save my Riverdale witch for later.
Yeah, now we have to know.
I just don't think the witch I was going to nominate would have played in this room. So I'm going to go with a different witch from a little movie franchise called Harry Potter.
Ooh, which one?
And there's only one in my head that should be number one of all of the witches. Now, there is some good ones in there, but I do think the best one in my mind is a professor at the
yes,
school.
the only one.
The only one.
Come on.
Professor McGonagall.
Yes.
Minerva McGonagall.
Minerva, what a great witch name.
Yes, and there's roots in that. There's a reason they called her that.
Tell me more, Hayley.
I have to look up my notes, so keep talking about your reasons.
Well, I think she's like easily the most badass teacher in the entire school. She is strict, but she's caring. She literally has no problem fighting the bad guys on her own. She'll just stand up for the school and she'll kick ass. Even when there's like Death Eaters after her and stuff like that, she can transform into a cat. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. Braeden?
Yeah, I was reading up about Minerva last night, and the sad thing about her is she's had a very cursed and kind of terrible love life, which I was sad to see, but maybe that's, part and parcel for the witch life. I feel like...
That's very witchy.
Yeah.
Very witchy.
I feel like everyone is kind of surrounded by tragedy in the witchy world in Harry Potter.
Yeah. And she has a really great hat.
Yes.
Really good witch hat.
And she's similar to Hermione in that she had the whole, one of her parents was a muggle, and she kind of faced a lot of
her
that.
dad.
Yeah, discrimination, but... rose to the top. She won a Transfiguration Award when she was at Hogwarts. Did anybody know that?
Wow.
Best Transfiguration.
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Whatever.
Yes. I will say I used to be big into the Harry Potter world, and for reasons I think that are obvious to all of us, I've stepped back in a major way from the J.K. Rowling world.
Totally.
But Minerva McGonagall is Scottish for, I think it's Son of the Brave is the last name. And then Minerva is taken from Athena.
Oh,
So that's the origin, the goddess of wisdom and justice.
I'm just out of curiosity. What is the counterpart to a witch? Is it wizard or warlock?
Warlock means traitor, apparently.
Does it?
Yeah, it's a
That's
bad
interesting.
thing. Warlocks
I'm just
are always
wondering.
evil.
Are they always evil?
I think.
But they have dark magic just like witches have.
Witches
dark
are
magic,
often
too.
dark magic, but also a lot of like white magic.
I think,
true. I guess
I
you
think
know.
technically, if you go back, like a male witch was also called a witch.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. Like, is
Yeah.
a wizard and a witch? Because I mean, in a lot of like the witch trials, like real life witch trials, like men were also killed. Like, so I wasn't sure if it was like, because I know Harry Potter is wizardry.
Yeah, and then I think leans strongly into the binary in Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, let's disassemble the bullshit around the word.
That's what I
witch.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do today, is really do that. Minerva McGonagall. Yeah, I know that the Harry Potter stuff can be it feels weird not to nominate a Harry Potter something, especially on a witch episode, like a magic episode.
You picked the right one.
But, I mean, regardless of all that stuff, Professor McGonagall, she's pretty cool. She's still pretty cool, so...
yeah, she's a good role model, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
So. Simone, do you have a witch that's a good role model as your next nomination?
I do.
Oh.
In fact, have another witch.
It's from Riverdale.
It is Cole Sprouse. There's not actually twins. It's just one secretly shaped. Anyways, so interesting that you brought up a real witch, Braeden. That was Bouden. That
please.
wasn't actually real. I have an actual real witch.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is the Bell Witch.
The Bell Witch, such a good story.
From Tennessee. So the Bell Witch, long time ago, there was this man who had a home, and his neighbor was said to be a witch. She was said to be a witch, and they had a really strong disagreement, and she died. Whether he killed her or not is debated, but let's say for the story, he murdered her. And so she was going to get revenge in this afterlife, which I think is also a very interesting theme, like in the witch world. Like, you see it with like the Sanderson sisters as well, where they all like, we killed them, but they're looming around and waiting to come back, kind of thing. So basically, his family's living in their home, and all of a sudden, like, the big tale is they see a lot of animals that are very strange. So there's like a dog with a rabbit's head, and he like shoots him, and then things go berserk, and there's like scratching on the walls, and then they're yanking on their legs in the night and pulling their hair, and his daughter and him got it like really, really bad. And then, there was like little whispers, and then it started to talk, and then it's this omnipotent like voice, and the voice's name is Kate, which was which was the neighbor's name. And it's like, I am here for revenge. And it is a very funny witch ghost, who likes to play a lot of little silly games, but took a very fond liking to the wife, and would often just like bring her, like light her a candle, or like bring her a tea, or things like that. It was just like very nice to the wife, but would be very, very evil to I believe his name was John Bell. Like, they had someone who said he could kill witches with like an iron bullet. And he came to the house and she stopped his horse in his tracks and he was terrified and ran for the hills and people would come and it was like everybody heard this voice. I don't know if it was like a mass hysteria. I mean, it was a witch, but this voice, this is one of those tales that there's often like, I was in the woods and I saw a witch, but this one has so many eyewitnesses that it's just deemed to be true. Like, people believe this so wholeheartedly to be true because of all the testimonies of people who were legitimately there in groups, all heard this voice, all saw like the shutters move and open or whatever it may be. And then eventually she like killed John Bell and they found him dead in his bed. He was poisoned. Nobody went up there. There was no access to his room, but there was a small vial beside his bed. They don't know what it's from. They threw it into the fireplace and it lit giant blue flames and shut out the ceiling.
Whoa.
Oh, fun. Did it make a cool, like, ghost noise as it went into the fire?
Question. Do you know the name of the Bell Witch, or is it just the Bell Witch?
I'm pretty sure it's just the Bell Witch. I know, well, the thing is, a lot of people think it's the neighbor because she called herself, I believe it was Kate. It was a very, like, funny name for a witch.
Kate the witch.
Yeah, but then some people, like, you know, it's a very old story. So some people are like, her name was actually Esther. But it was like,
All right,
that's a good
Kate,
name, too.
Esther, I'll put a slash there.
yeah, but it was the neighbor.
Now, let's do a check-in on Hayley's game here. Hayley, what do we got?
Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm only counting yours, so 8 other witches. And I am 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4. 50%.
50% witch.
50% so far. Yes, for my guess.
You will tell us later.
I will. I'm going to reveal it. Don't you worry.
I'm trying to guess what it is.
Yeah, me too.
Isn't it fun to have a bonus game?
It's fun.
I mean, it's fun for you.
I think it's fun.
I think it is fun.
Yeah,
It's fun
I can
once
tell you now. If
No,
you wanna know.
no. Because
please
Braeden
don't.
has to go, and he's gonna throw a curveball on your game.
You betcha.
Here it is.
Here we go.
Here comes the curveball. Simone, I'm definitely going to need consultation on whether this is a witch or not, but
Okay.
let me just list a few traits of this witch before I get into who she actually is.
Okay.
She's infatuated with influencing children.
Okay.
Very
Check.
witchy. She has a magical device that she can use to fly.
Check.
Okay.
She does a special incantation when she does her spells, or does her magic. She might even be immortal.
Okay.
Is she a jellyfish?
She is not. She is also not very evil at all. Her name is Mary Poppins.
Yes, baby. This is a witch. Mary Poppins is a witch. She was on my
That's a
list of
witch.
honorable mentions.
Me
That's
too.
a witch.
Is she really a witch?
That's a witch.
Is Mary-
She's a witch.
She flies with an umbrella. She
Yes.
touches her nose. She's got a magic bag full of stuff.
She's just a good witch. and
People at
that's why we
home,
love her.
you don't have any idea what just happened right now, where all three of them just stared me directly in the eye. And they're like, she's a witch. She's a tongue. You shut the fuck up. She's a witch.
I wouldn't have nominated her without doing intensive back research.
Yes.
And I watched this YouTube video of what was maybe 10-year-old girls who did a Venn diagram of witch, Mary Poppins, and, you know, the overlap between
Yes.
them.
What did
and
you
there
learn?
was far more overlap than there was on either side.
We don't know what Mary Poppins is up to at like after hours and stuff like that. She might be doing some evil shit.
Exactly.
Jumps
She-
into different realities.
And who
Yeah.
said, you know, witches can't be good? I think we've had a lot of evil representation on this list, but Mary Poppins is a witch for good.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad you said that. I was
love
just about
this.
to nominate that right before you did, and I was like, oh, I feel bad. There's no nice witches.
Yeah,
Nothing.
no.
Professor McGonagall's a nice witch.
She's a nice
Oh,
witch.
is she? I've never seen Harry Potter.
That's for the best, Simone.
Yeah, I really I played the long game on that one.
Yeah. Totally.
It's good. It's a
But,
good one.
you know, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is a spell.
Yeah.
That is a spell. That's what she uses.
They jump into a sidewalk
They,
painting.
Yes.
they jump into storybooks. Also, Rita Repulsa, my first nomination, also through the Power Rangers in a storybook. Exact same power. So if she's a witch, Mary's a witch. Yeah, and just it becomes
Also,
very
sorry,
clear.
did anyone else just hear that weird voice?
Yeah, it was Mary Poppins talking to us.
I think that was my phone
Yeah,
thinking
Braeden.
I was talking about my phone.
Still,
I
I
call
was
my
like,
phone Mary
oh,
Poppins.
Yeah.
After talking about the Bell Witch, like using her voice, I'm like, no. Like,
Actually, I would
It's
like,
Kate.
I would like to nominate the voice
incense went
assistant
up.
on my phone
Siri?
because she chimes in at the weirdest times, and it's
The
freaky.
incense went out.
It's okay. No, we're axing Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
We're doing
Mary-
Braden's voice
Someone get the
assistant
salt, get the salt,
on
get
his
the salt.
Samsung Galaxy. Yeah,
like
but she's a witch.
Totally.
And she makes the children keep her secret as well, I think, right?
Yes.
Adults can't know about her powers, and
Yeah, and she's summoned through a note that was ripped up by a man and thrown into a fire.
Yeah, and it magically floated its way to her.
yes, she's 100% a witch.
Great choice, Braeden.
And Mary
Yeah.
Poppins Returns. Okay movie. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Put it out there. That's with Emily
as-
Blunt.
yeah.
It's not even
nearly
close.
as good.
I say it's okay movie.
Lin-Manuel Miranda annoys me in that movie. I'm sorry.
But he has such a good.
He's too earnest.
He's a leery.
He's very happy. You can tell he was having a great time.
Yeah, because he got to write most of that music.
Yeah.
So of course he was, and he had to do a fun little weird accent. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Haley.
Okay, so my third witch. I mean, there's so many. I literally had 24 witches on my list.
My goodness.
And I think I'm so torn, but I think I have to go with a classic. I think I got to go with the Evil Queen, also known history to Grimhild. I'm talking about the Evil Queen from Snow White.
Yes.
Okay, this is the iconic witch. A lot of the witches were, I literally put little apples on the table. They're props to support my
What
choice.
kind of apples were they again?
These are
Poison.
mini cur apples.
Mini cur.
Mini cur apples.
Mini cur apples.
Just for proof that they're here.
Whoa. Oh, what
Yes.
I'm gonna have to play back that sound when I'm editing it because it was such a strange bite. It was like
It's because it's so little.
But it was very long for a very small apple.
It's tiny. It's like a 1-inch high apple. Anyways, so I'm choosing the Evil Queen from Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs. This is a 1937 Evil Queen, but she's based on Grimhild from the Brothers Grimm, a super powerful female ruler, all about independence, freedom, power. This is like there's so many haunting things about this witch. The classic stereotype, this trope of being a stepmother starts here. The double-faced nature of witches, like the hag, the vixen, the sexy one, and the creepy old one. Also, I think, has a lot of its origins here.
Which one's which?
Which one's which?
she's pretty sexy as a hag.
Across the board. They're so good.
Each their own. That's all I'm saying.
But like so good. She has 2 crows for familiars. The magic mirror is one of her
Oh
familiars.
yeah, that mirror's creepy.
Mirror work
It's
is
so
very
good.
important.
Yeah. And then her spell, the poisoned apple, is like now the representation of villainy on a
Yeah.
whole. If you want to represent, be like poison apples, and you know you're talking about evil.
Yes.
She can also turn into a dragon. Pretty sweet.
She becomes a dragon.
Wait,
becomes a dragon.
Isn't that Malevolent?
Malevolent.
Maleficent.
Oh, yeah.
Maleficent, sorry.
Fair enough. I redacted.
Yeah.
Redacted.
She probably could become a dragon if she wanted.
Yeah.
Maleficent's scarier, I think, but evil,
a little scarier.
Evil Queen has
Evil.
the classicness too. It's the first Disney animated film, is Snow White.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
So-
there's a lot of roots there for me. And this poisoned apple, this links to another witch from history, Lilith.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Lilith, who has, I believe the story is like takes the apple in the early garden, the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it was a mini cur apple?
I think it was.
It's just such a long.
Was
Yeah,
so
it's a
good.
little pop. Wow. It's just such a long bite for a the tiniest apple in the world. It's strange.
It's impressive, and
Get it?
it's so satisfying.
Yeah. Great nomination. Evil Queen. Do you two have any feelings about the Evil Queen?
That's a witch.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I was feeling bad that some of these classic witches hadn't made the nominations yet, so I was
Yeah.
really happy to see her come in. And
Yep.
is she the mirror on the wall?
She is.
Yeah, and also
That's
has
also
huntsman,
classic.
which is like
Yeah.
very classic witch thing.
Stealing
to
a
have.
heart, controlling men, making them do things for you
Yeah,
until you get
stab
the
through the
ultimate power.
heart.
Yeah, like she's trying to overthrow the king and become the ruler of everybody, and she does it in brutal and awful ways.
Yes, very witch, very witch.
Very witch,
Yeah,
very witch.
that's
And
right.
wears purple, I think, starts the trend of witches wearing purple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially in Disney. Ursula's purple, Madam Mim, purple.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Very
She's a trendsetter.
Meg from Hercules is purple. She's kind of... She's not really
Nah,
a
she's
witch.
not really a
She's
witch.
just kind of cursed. But
Yeah, poor Meg.
Yeah, poor Meg. Pour one out for Meg. So that's our list of 12. We're going to figure out Haley's game on the break. And when we're back, we're going to rank top 5 witches. That's a witch.
That's a witch.
That's a witch.
That's a witch.
Report. Set collection. Discrepancy straight-lined, Moth said. Meet Moth. Moth travels everywhere and everywhen in search of often deadly, discrepancies, and tries to make sense of the briefs she gets from Collection. There were holes in the brief, you know. I don't like that. The Moth Collection podcast. It's science fiction with a little bit of horror. It's weird and funny and romantic, and there won't be another season. 14 episodes, and that's it, people. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Presented by PodCavern.
Top five.
Hello, everyone. We are back. We're ready to rank some witches. We are back in full garb. All of us are wearing our cloaks. Where'd you guys get your cloaks, by the way?
I got my cloak. I found it lost and abandoned in the middle of birch forest.
Whoa.
It smells of patchouli and sandalwood, and in the pockets I found a rabbit skull.
Holy shit. That is cool. Braeden, your cloak looks very fancy.
I also discovered it in a mysterious location. Mm-hmm. The men's section at a Value Village.
God damn it. That's what I was going to say. I could see you have the tag still on here. yeah. Simone, you have a very interesting cloak on. Can you explain that for me?
I can explain my cloak to you.
Yeah.
This cloak is a long, dusty rose, paisley, fleecy cloak with a hood that is also very long and almost like a 1800s nightcap with a tassel.
Yeah, it's very Scrooge.
Yeah.
That's it.
If Scrooge were a witch.
Yeah, witchy
Scrooge might be a witch. Save it for honorable mentions. You don't know. I am disappointed today's podcast. None of us have brought brooms today. None of us decided to levitate during this cast. What's the deal with that?
Well, I flew it all the way from Alberta, so it's charging.
It's a USB charge.
Yeah, it's a Tesla broom.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
My broom is a duct tape car, and you rode in it.
Yes, and I insisted you come to my HQ, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, I rode a Roomba here. So that's screw brooms. Okay, our list of witches, very strong list, but as we said on the break to each other, there's a lot of witches that were not set. It's a shocking amount of witches out there. So we will mention them later, but our list right now, which I think is very good, is Ursula, Baba Yaga, Rita Repulsa, Hecate, Sanderson sisters, the Owen sisters, the Blair Witch, Willow Rosenberg, Professor McGonagall, the Bell Witch, Mary Poppins, and the Evil Queen from Snow White.
Yes, which I got 25% correct in the secret game.
Okay, you gotta say it now.
Okay, witches' names often end with the letter A.
Oh.
So Ursula, Baba Yaga, Rita Repulsa, and Minerva all fit into that category.
Oh, fun.
Yes, but also Zelda, Hilda, and Sabrina Spellman, Glinda the Good Witch, Samantha, Endora, Clara, Bathilda Bagshot, Broomhilda, Endora Adams, or Eudora Adams, this is Grandmama, also ends with A, Medusa, Tara from Buffy.
Oh my god.
Wanda Maximoff, Bathsheba from The Conjuring, Endora from Bewitched, Gruntilda, Mingilla, Blabella, and Brentilda from Banjo-Kazooie all end in the letter A.
So that is nuts because before I was going to play this game of turning your names into a bunch of spooky witch puns, I was going to just do a witch generator of names here.
Do they all end in A?
And then most of them end in A. Ophelia, Thalia, Faba, Regina, Lavina.
Regina, just a
Regina,
city.
Saskatchewan.
I don't know. Regina is like...
Spooky Regina.
This doesn't... Honestly, I'm not sure. This witch is Regina Shelley. I don't know how.
I think I know her.
It doesn't seem very witchy.
I think she's from a small town in Alberta.
But the A.
Yeah, but the A.
The
Just
A.
to go
Why? Is
here.
there a reason for that, or just...
No, it's just a commonality. And so now if people are coming up with witch names, you typically just slap an A on something and
Is it like an abracadabra?
maybe.
Hayley.
It already sounds more witchy.
Yeah.
Tunga.
Braedena.
Braedena's cool.
That is pretty
Braedena
cool,
is actually really
actually.
cool.
Simona?
I like it.
That's
a-
Simone. No, that's just my name in Italian.
Yeah.
Like, actually.
Okay, so our list, we have it. Let's do stars for further consideration. So I'm going to get people, I'm going to go around the circle, and you're just going to star a nomination for further consideration, and we'll just go once around. Star one that isn't one of your own. Simona, if you will, star one that isn't one of your own.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins is starred. We'll talk about that later. Braeden, star one that isn't one of your own.
I'm going to star Willow.
Willow Rosenberg. Hayley.
Ursula the Sea Witch.
Okay, I'm gonna star Baba Yaga.
Yes.
Okay, so now we have 4-starred Ursula, Baba Yaga, Mary Poppins, Willow Rosenberg. Of course, these aren't locked for the list. They're just a way for us to navigate it. I'll get everyone to now open floor. If you want to start any other ones that you want to fight for, they can include one of your own right now. Go for it, if you think it has a good shot.
Hecate. Yeah, 100%.
Nice, Simone. We said it in unison.
Yeah.
We're a coven.
Hecate.
I'm sorry, Braeden.
Oh, sorry.
Hecka, yay, for this list.
There we go.
I think the Sanderson sisters
Yes.
should be starred for consideration.
I agree.
Iconic trio.
I mean, I gotta start the Blair Witch.
I was going to say the Blair Witch as well, because the journey you took us through, Braeden, we all were bewitched.
I just have more to say about the Blair Witch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else, Simone? If you think it has a shot, of course. I mean, these are all great witches, but now we got to tear them down.
Yeah, I think I'm also happy. Yeah, I think that's a good witchy list.
It's a good witchy list.
For me personally at this point in time.
Hayley, does this satisfy your witch meter?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, it does.
Oh, actually, Hecate and Willow are start on your side here.
Yeah,
so.
I'm
You're happy.
I'm doing well.
You're
And
happy.
my other one was a classic to throw in here.
Yeah,
But
very important to shout out.
it was my third one. I'm really satisfied with Ursula, Baba Yaga, Hecate, the Sanderson sisters, Ellie, Kedward, and Willow and Mary.
Braeden?
Yeah, I was going back and forth between the Evil Queen, Rita Repulsa. Just saying.
Oh yeah.
She is pretty
Listen,
badass.
listen.
She's a space witch. She's the only intergalactic.
I got really excited when you said that because I didn't even consider her as a witch. But it is tough. She is in tough company, I would say.
The one thing that's I'm fighting with her is she is just goofy. She is not like badass like most of these
that's
witches.
a win. That's a win in my books. Like the goofy campy. The thing is, like the goofy campy can also be lumped in with the Sanderson sisters.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rita, she's just more classically evil,
yeah.
which is
Not
fun.
classically witchy.
I think there's enough evil.
That's probably what it
representation on
is.
the list.
Yeah. I'm thrilled that she was part of the conversation. And now, go Power Rangers.
Okay, let's see here. I'm going to just say the ones that weren't starred and we can just kind of gracefully let them go unless we're like, oh, maybe we should talk about it a little later. Professor McGonagall, I'm okay with letting go. I think there's too much. I just feel weird like having a Harry Potter thing on this list, to be honest with you. That's part of it. But if I try to put Professor McGonagall in a vacuum, she is so fucking cool. And I think she was a role model for a lot of people reading those books as well. So it is a tough one for me, but I think ultimately we have other good witches on this list too that can take her spot.
Farewell, Minerva.
Yeah.
Maggie
Is that how you feel
Smith.
too, Hayley? Probably?
Yeah, I'm good. I agree with you in that, like, in the canon of Harry Potter, there was only one that I felt was I was like, oh, do I nominate her?
Yeah.
And it's Minerva, but I am ready to watch her transfigure into a cat and meow her sassy ass away.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like you
Agreed.
could do a ranked of just Harry Potter characters.
We could. I won't. But we could.
There's so many.
There's so many.
There is.
Like when
witchy
I was
wizard people.
It's
Yeah,
true. When I
but-
was doing research there, I found this great blog on 100 witches. This wonderful person posted a witch every day for 100 days.
Oh my goodness.
And acknowledge just went, I have to acknowledge Harry Potter. This could be an entire post
Yes.
on its own. Yeah.
There's a few good Harry Potter ones, but I think ultimately
Bye-bye.
they don't need to be here.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, what about the Owen sisters and the Bell Witch? Simone, you're okay with letting those go?
Listen, they're practical, and one's even real, and that can just be their thing.
Okay, that's great.
The Bell Witch is one of the most wonderful campfire ghost stories that you can tell, though. It's worth looking
very
up and
classic.
learning it.
I
and
do
telling
like that
story.
a lot, just because it was like
You can
it was
visit
one of
her.
our real witches, right? Like that's like
Hecate.
Hecate. Yeah, that's true. But Hecate,
She's real to us.
But the Bell Witch was more like a
It was a-
story. Like it's more like
Well,
That's
you can
true.
Like,
go
it's-
visit her. She supposedly still lives in this cave, and you
Is-
can go and see it right now today.
Is the Bell Witch the one that was crushed on the rock?
No, that was Maul Dyer.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
one of
yeah,
my
yeah,
honorable
yeah.
mentions.
Yeah,
Spoiler
yeah.
alert.
Spoiler.
Woo! Seeing
Yeah,
into
she
the
was
future
cool.
like a witch.
She was cool. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that was the only reason why I would keep the Bell Witch is because it has like real life implications. Not to say Hecate doesn't, but Hecate feels more like a more
Mythological.
mythological.
We're praying to her.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You're not praying to the Bell Witch, so
Well, not tonight.
not tonight.
Maybe you should start.
Maybe we'll see it back if we need like a real life witch to,
Yep.
round out the list. The Blair Witch, we're definitely gonna keep that. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's already started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Evil Queen.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm glad
thinking
she
about
was. I'm glad she was here.
Yeah.
She was almost an honorable mention for me, to be honest. And
Yeah.
my first honorable mention will be the alternate that I was going to bring
Yeah,
forward.
I think we only need one Disney witch, if any, on this list, and it's Ursula.
Body language.
All right, so now we're going to go through, let's see, Ursula, Sanderson's sisters, Baba Yaga, the Blair Witch, Mary Poppins, Hecate, and Willow Rosenberg. We got to cut 2 of them to make a top 5. I'm going to say that one more time, but slower, and we're going to go through something called locks. So when I say it, say if it's a lock for you. If all of us say it's a lock, it's going to make the top 5 probably. And if someone hesitates for a second, we'll move on. Sound good?
Yeah.
Ursula, lock or no lock?
Lock.
Lock. Okay.
Is that an option? Yeah.
It wasn't even a hesitation. It was more like a exhausted.
50-50 shot.
Sanderson sisters, lock or no lock? That's a lock. Ooh. Silence. All right,
lock.
move on. So it's okay. Here, I'll do a Simone. Ugh. Baba Yaga, lock or no lock? I would lock.
I kind of would lock.
I would lock a Baba
I
Yaga.
wanna lock. I
think
wanna
that's
lock.
a fun folklore.
Folklore.
I'm into Bobby.
I'm
Very
90%
classic.
lock on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then let's see, the Blair Witch, lock or no lock?
Lock.
I could lock it if I'm
I could hear more
persuaded.
arguments.
I want to hear more
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I wanna
yeah,
know
yeah.
more.
You have more and I want more. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I haven't voted yet, but
door's
please,
closing.
candidate, describe your platform.
Yeah.
And Mary Poppins,
Lock for me. Hard lock. Turn the key, throw it away, lock
Hayley?
it up, baby.
Not a lot of locks.
I mean, I'm so close to a lock, but
we're not there. Okay.
I'm not sure.
It's
I'm not
okay.
sure.
It's okay. Hecate.
Lock.
All right. That's our first. That's our first lock, and it was in harmony.
Oh, yeah.
Willow Rosenberg.
Lock, baby.
Who is that again? Oh, Buff.
Buffy.
Buff.
Yeah.
Sorry. Buff.
Yeah, Braeden and I locked it in.
I could lock Willow.
Nice.
She's iconic. Simone, not yet.
But it's not fair because I'm just too juvenile.
That's okay. We don't have to. We can make more arguments for
Yeah.
Willow later.
We could talk more Willow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. We didn't solve too much with the
Yeah,
locking
we just
system.
lock everybody.
We got rid of the Sanderson sisters.
We didn't get rid of anyone. No, we didn't get rid of them.
Well,
I locked them. But do you want to get rid
I
of
also
them?
think I locked them.
Yeah. I don't know. We need a.
Wait,
I
how
think we
many
need
do
a
we have?
trio. You just mentioned how iconic trios are on witches, and we only have one.
And I also
I
think that they
know.
might be responsible for luring or bringing in a lot of people to the witch love. I think they had a lot to do with the overall excitement around witchy movies and the witch and the fables of them, and I just think that they really ride hard for the witch team.
well, for me, it's who would I swap, right? We've still got Ursula, Baba Yaga, Hecate, the
Ursula.
Sanderson sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get rid of Ursula for
Why?
the Sanderson sisters.
Why?
Yeah,
Because Ursula's way better.
I like them both, but
I like the sisters better.
They're
They're more witch to me.
They're supposed to be evil and powerful, but really I don't know. They fall
They
flat.
suck the life
They're
out
just
of
they're kind of
children.
goofy.
I like a goofy witch.
Yeah,
They are
but that's
goofy.
part of it too, right?
We need a goofy witch on this list.
Do we?
I mean,
But then also, I guess I'm flip flopping here because I would say Ursula has a bit of a goof, has
does.
major camp.
Divine.
Definitely.
The drag queen that she is based on
Definitely
is wildly ridiculous. The John Waters movies, the Divine is from.
she's a different type of campy, though. She's much
Yeah.
more Sanderson's sisters are very tongue in cheek with their evil
Well,
schemes.
they're more
and-
like Broadway camp.
Well,
yeah. Ursula's more like
riddle me this. Mm-hmm. Sanderson sisters or the Blair Witch?
Blair Witch is okay. If
Because that's what I am debating right now. It's between the Sanderson sisters and the Blair Witch.
okay. So we gotta cut 2, right? So
okay. The Blair Witch, if we're putting them up against the Sanderson sisters, I have to pick the Blair Witch. Just out of the sheer terror, the believability.
Yeah, And I think the Blair Witch also has a lot of like the classic witchy lore that like the Bell Witch also had. Like tagging in a lot of those things. But
Or is the Sanderson sisters versus Mary Poppins?
No, Mary Poppins is saying screw the sisters, screw them. I don't care.
Because like if we're looking for campy joy thing, like which one of the two?
I see that overlap a lot.
Mary.
I would lock in Mary Poppins to cut the Sanderson sisters.
Deal.
Sounds like that is a trade I don't want to make, but I don't.
It's been made.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
That sucks. Sanderson sisters are great.
They are pretty iconic.
Ranked is tough, okay?
I don't like that we don't have a trio or a duo on this witchy list.
Honorable mentions.
But on our top 5, we're not having the Hocus Pocus trio. Are you
But
kidding
we're
me?
making a coven.
Hey, it's the top
true.
5, and there's one witch per spot. We can just agree
Yeah,
to
it's
that.
true. It's
We
true.
can say that's it.
Okay, so Hocus No Kiss with.
That was a stretch.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. How about you two witchies try better?
No kiss. No kiss.
Yeah. Hocus, not this.
Oh, yeah, that was better.
It's not fair. Haley's like a trained comedian.
Sorry, severed tongue. We're all trained comedians. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
it's true. Yeah. Not award winning.
Neither am I.
Not with No Kiss.
All right.
Okay, all right.
We're down to 6. We're down to
We need
6.
to
Wait, who
one
else
more.
did we get rid of?
I just got rid of Sanderson sisters.
That was it, right?
No, yeah, we
And
got 6.
I'll say for the record, for the people at home, I'm not happy about it. But you know how this usually my guests turn on me, and now's the time.
It's classic.
Can we explain again why Willow?
Okay.
Just because I'm not familiar, but I'm open to it.
That's fair. So, Willow Rosenberg is not only an amazing witch, but she's a wonderful friend. Very big heart. She wants to take care of people. She goes above and beyond in the realm of friendship and heroism to like save people. As like a super nerd, she doesn't let that get in her way of like, she literally saves her bully multiple times. And as she grows, she just gets more and more powerful. She's super gay, which I like.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's a
And we need some queer representation on this top 5 list.
she's a queer icon for
She
sure.
is. She is.
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. Actually, Mary Poppins, I would not be surprised if she was gay.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Willow Rosenberg, when it comes to pop culture witches, this is the one that is super influential. And I think when you watch Buffy, you will go, yes.
Oh, it's Allison
Yeah.
Hannigan. Oh,
Yeah, and it's Allison Hannigan.
Oh, yes. We
It's
didn't
also
even
Allison
mention
Hannigan,
that.
and it's like the classic redheaded witch.
Yeah.
Like, she's so good. And she is, I think, out of the witches on the list, with the exception of Hecate, the most powerful witch.
Yeah.
I also I just was looking up pictures as you were describing.
Yeah, she's a big
I think it's also what I was enjoying about like the Practical Magic Sisters is like bringing it into like a more modernized space and having that like sisterhood. So
And
I
Willow's
accept.
Hecka gay.
Yeah, there it is. There it
Hey,
is.
I'm back.
And like she engages with the Coven. She does have a group. Like her and Tara work as a team often. And if you throw in Amy, then sometimes there is a trio.
I have no qualms
I
about
like that.
Willow being on this list. She just has like probably the best arc in that entire show.
She does.
Yeah.
And there's multiple good arcs in that show. So
Spike.
She's the full
I can't even
package,
get started.
Willow.
So
Okay.
now it feels like Ursula versus Mary Poppins.
does it?
Okay, so maybe we need like who are we 100% keeping? It sounds like Willow is on the list.
I'm happy with that.
Okay, Hecate, Mary Poppins, and Willow. That's 3. Those feel like they're going to be on this list. And then there's Blair Witch, Baba Yaga, and Ursula. Ooh. Which I think is tough.
Baba Yaga versus Blair Witch when it comes to folklore.
I can see that
think?
matchup.
Okay.
Oh, that's so hard
That's
though.
really
Baba Yaga
hard.
is a real legend.
Yeah.
But like again, the story might not be true. The thing about the Blair Witch is it's a fake legend and people thought it was real.
Yeah, which is witch.
Yeah, which is way more witchy than a fake legend that might not be true, or like a real legend that might not be true. It's a real legend that might not be true versus a fake legend that people thought was true.
Yeah, but I think with Baba Yaga too, like the way that it's transcended time and like continues to come back and people are still scared of and still been used in so many different forms of media is also pretty witchy and they're never dying ever.
That's true, and I would
cycle.
say the same. You could say the same thing about the Blair Witch. It's just it's only been around since the 90s, but it keeps coming back. Cloverfield, people were like, "Oh yeah, the Blair
Yeah.
Witch." Any first-person movie that comes out, they're like, "Oh yeah, the Blair Witch."
But is that about the filmmaking or the witch?
It's true.
Both,
Yeah, it's like
in
the
a way.
story of the witch.
it's the intensity of this witch that
Yeah.
you don't see but are terrified of.
Honestly, Braeden, the reason the Blair Witch is on the list is because of the way you introduced it.
Yes.
And you got me hooked into that whole witchy vibe of the story. I haven't seen the Blair Witch Project.
Oh.
So I was this
I don't know if it
dedicated
holds
based
up.
off your story.
It does hold up.
you think so?
I still to this day think it's the scariest movie. It was like that, and then Paranormal Activity, which was just based kind of on the same
This
style.
type of like.
But Baba Yaga comes flying in on a mortar and pestle.
It's true.
Guacamole fiesta witch.
How is a guacamole witch?
This is the chicken legs.
Movies or
Chicken
like
legs,
pop
spinning
co-
house.
like
Yes.
I just don't know enough about Baba Yaga maybe
Oh,
to
many
make it.
things.
You'd be
many
surprised.
Yeah,
things.
Baba Yaga is
Wait, let me-
freaking huge.
Lara Croft Tomb Raider, an
Okay.
amazing villain in one of the Lara Croft games.
She's creepy. Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baba Yaga's in like a lot of
This is
depicted.
tough.
If I had to,
And it's also kind of where like the image of the witch also like they used to say she had a lead nose and she would lie down in her bed and her nose would touch the ceiling and she
Yeah.
could sniff out the scent of who was coming and it's like the very like where a lot of I think like the witch trope sort of spun out
It's
from.
true. Baba Yaga does give me like the classic witch vibes that I'm needing. And when we're talking about like the crone and the old hag, I think Baba Yaga, I think the translation is grandmother
Yeah.
witch.
Yeah, it's grandma.
if I'm looking at pictures, she is the. Yeah, she
You know-
looks exactly like that.
Even in just doing this, I'll make a concession. Whereas Baba Yaga has like that mortar and pestle. She has kind of her like tied to nature and sort of thing. I don't know if the Blair Witch is really like magical in any way. They're just kind of like scary. They like cut out tongues. They do very like ritually kind
Sever
of things and put dolls in trees and
More
all
like
that stuff.
satanic than necessarily witchy.
Yeah.
More murdery than
Yeah.
just like.
More murdery
Culty.
mystery.
Yeah.
Culty
So-
kind of. So
So is it Baba Yaga?
I would lean Baba Yaga because Baba Yaga has a richer history throughout a lot of fiction and stuff, and not even just fiction, just like folklore stuff. And I'm more familiar with Baba Yaga than I am the Blair Witch. But yeah, you don't even get to see the Blair Witch do any witchy stuff.
I mean, you hear about her witchy stuff.
You hear about her witchy stuff.
You
yeah.
see at the end of the movie that something killed those kids, but you'd never see what it was.
But is it more like ghosty haunty instead of like witchy?
Yeah, very much.
Like paranormal
Yeah.
activity?
Yeah, very paranormal. You don't see it. A lot of sounds in the woods.
Yes.
A lot of rocking their tent when they're sleeping, kind of things. That movie's also. This is now. I'm just getting into the production.
Yeah. Are we going to watch it when this is over? Like,
Yeah,
are we
but
watching the Blair Witch?
Didn't they have
They-
a second movie too?
They
Yeah.
did have a second movie, and I Wikipedia'd it. It didn't play into my argument very well. So I've intentionally not mentioned it.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know. They're.
I think I got to go Baba.
I think I gotta go Baba maybe for the lack of
Yaga.
magic.
Baba Yaga.
But
Baba Yaga do.
The crossover we didn't know we needed.
I'm getting delirious now.
I am picturing Fred and Wilma Flintstone living in a big stone house with big dinosaur legs. Walking around. Okay.
Yeah, Blair Witch is a fantastic nomination. I think it deserves to have been
Yes.
talked about and stuff, but I
Yep.
think Baba Yaga has the history behind it, which is fun.
I'm on the list, baby. Yeah.
Here we go.
All on the list, we have Ursula, Baba Yaga, Mary Poppins, Hecate, Willow Rosenberg. That's 5. We gotta rank it from 5 to 1. Let's start with number 5. What are you thinking?
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, I'll accept that for the representation of the nice switch.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 5 spot.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Okay.
could see it.
Oh yeah.
You're
I
so
mean,
reluctant.
Ursula could also be 5.
I don't
Now
think
I'm
so.
looking
No
at
way,
Ursula.
no way, no
I'm
chance.
like, is Ursula better than the Blair Witch?
No, it's
Yes.
not.
Yes.
I was trying to
100%.
get rid of Ursula for a
1000%.
while.
Why are we
talking
even
about?
arguing about? Did anyone hear the song "Poor Unfortunate Souls"?
It's so good.
The best.
It's so good. It's a great villain song.
Yeah.
Okay, but maybe Ursula's 5 because 2 of us are like, meh.
Did Ursula give me nightmares for a week straight? No.
Yes.
She should.
Yes,
She's frightening.
I genuinely
Lots of people were
had nightmares about Ursula. I thought she lived in my childhood bathroom and would come out of the toilet or sink or whenever you turned
Horrific.
water on, she would suck out of the taps.
Look at her. She's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's incredible. Like,
But she's number 5 maybe, and then Mary's 4.
I would. I think she's. I could put her at 4.
I
but
would put.
I don't think.
I
she's
think
the
Mary
bottom.
is 5. I think Mary is a great nomination, but she almost feels like we cheated to get her on the list. You know, she is like a witch, but she's not.
She's a witch.
She's 100% a witch. I think you feel cheated, Tuong.
I would go Ursula 4 and Mary 5.
Ursula 5, Mary
Yeah.
4.
Okay, the grudge is in us today.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's just not a hill I'm willing to die on.
Wait.
For,
Why
it's
is
fine.
Ursula even like on the? I would accept her more on like the middle of the list than
I was in my head. She was at
Putting her
3.
She was
higher?
3.
She was 3.
She was 3 in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm accepting her at 4 and Mary at 5 to definitely not. You met me with 3.
You're
that's
ready to cut Baba Yaga in a
Look
second.
at Braden's face.
Just-
He's disgusted with us.
I'm picturing a showdown between Ursula and Mary Poppins right now.
Ursula. Well,
On land, Mary Poppins destroys her.
Ursula would just possess the body of someone.
yeah.
I actually.
So would Mary
yeah.
Poppins. We don't know what she's capable of.
She's hiding
Exactly.
Ursula's stronger shit, and she has cool magic, and you see the magic in the movie.
She can control life.
We know.
She lives in a leviathan. Ursula lives in the remains of a leviathan at the bottom of the ocean, surrounded by polyps, which are the remains of merfolk that she manipulated.
And
That's
do I
very
have,
witchy.
Do I have to remind you? She has 2 eels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Mary Poppins also has control of nature, doesn't she? She's very like communicative with the animals and that sort of thing as
Yeah,
well.
but she makes you take that nasty medicine.
Yeah.
But for
Does she have eels? I don't know about that.
The eels, Braeden, the eels!
See, I think Mary Poppins has the mystery. She could have eels. She could have anything. She's kind of a wild card.
That's
Who
true.
knows
She is
what's
a wild
in
like
that
with
bag?
Ursula, you get what you get. But imagine this, okay?
Yeah.
Mary Poppins, something terrible happens to her.
No.
She becomes evil.
Oh my god, yes, the arc.
Evil Poppins.
Yes, and she goes from good to evil.
Pop off.
Would you not imagine Mary Poppins as an evil witch to maybe be
Have you seen
TM.
one of the most
TM.
powerful?
Have you seen the horror movie remake of someone made a trailer for
Oh, they already
Mary
did that?
Poppins
I'm not
as a horror
surprised.
movie? It's great.
It probably would be amazing.
I would watch that
I
in
would
a
watch
heartbeat.
it.
I mean, I would put alternate reality evil Mary Poppins above Ursula, but that's not who we're dealing with.
Wait, let's look at the other nominations. Maybe we're looking at this wrong. Like, is Baba Yaga,
Baba
Hecate,
Yaga,
and Willow? Well, those two are very good ones. Where are those guys? Where's Baba Yaga on this list? That's where I'm.
2 or 3.
Three. Baba Yaga is not above Willow or Hecate for me.
Fine.
Yeah,
okay.
same.
3. I think Baba Yaga's straight up middle folklore.
Yeah, let's put
All
her
right.
at 3. Locked in at 3.
All right,
in
Mary
three.
Poppins, Ursula,
Baba.
Baba.
I can do that. Can anybody else?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Can anybody else do that?
I can commit to
And
that.
I think 1 and 2 might be unanimous, and I don't know.
Do we say it about loud on the count of 3?
Well,
Wait, what are we saying?
you said it
I
might
know
be
what I
unanimous.
want
Me
for
too.
number 1.
I think I know. I think you know. I think we all know.
Do we?
Do we know?
I think
Well,
Braeden and
what
I
is
are in
Bra-
the same team.
Oh, are you on a different team than me?
We're gonna find out in moments.
On the
I
next
think we
episode of
might be
Ranked, we will find out.
I know who I want to be number
I
one.
know I want to be number 1.
Okay.
Yep.
Actually, think you know what?
We should say it as a
should say
true coven that we are.
No. We should say number 2.
Number 2 out loud. Okay.
We should say number 2 out
Number
loud.
2. Number 2. Everybody.
Okay.
Okay, number 2 is 3, 2, 1.
Willow.
Hecate. It's Hecate.
No, it's
Hello.
not.
It's
I put
Hecate.
Hecate at number 1. Simone, you
Yeah.
and I were. Yeah.
So Braeden, you and I are on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
What?
It's Hecate number 2 for me.
Now listen.
I could be swayed because obviously I love Willow, but Willow's literally
Look.
praying to Hecate.
That's what
but
I mean,
That
yeah.
that doesn't, for me, I can't even look at it, like, I don't know what Hecate looks like.
But that's the point, Tom.
But I don't think that's like a great, like,
We just spent a whole time debating about the Blair Witch and how we didn't know what she looks like and how
And-
haunting that was.
and the Blair Witch is not on the list, as you can see.
But it was a hot debate.
It's also that thing where like Hecate's so powerful, like there's lots of like folklores and religions
I
where
agree.
you can't say the name,
That's
you
why it's a
can't
strong
depict
number
them
2.
because it's so powerful.
Willow has a
You want a
full
picture?
arc.
You want a picture of Hecate?
That's cool.
Can I
But is
see?
she a queer icon?
Who knows?
Oh wow.
I mean, I love Willow. It's not going to take a lot for me to tip the scales here.
I'm saying Willow has a full arc that we get to see on screen, and one of the best character arcs on TV in general.
That's true.
I think it is much more satisfying to celebrate an individual character than just a goddess who has it all.
That's what I was gonna say. Like Hecate, obviously a witch, but she's more a goddess than a witch.
But I think it's a like respect thing. Like all of these witches that we've named, you can probably find in some way a tie to Hecate,
Yep.
which is where they've got their witchiness from. And I think like I remember when we were locking and everyone was like, oh, locked. Like, everyone has been riding the Hecate train until the last stop.
Same
we
with
get off.
Same with Mary Poppins.
We get
and Mary
off?
Poppins was number 5.
But she's on the list, and that was even hard for half of us. But half of you were like, no. Hecate was like a definite.
And that's why I think it's a great number 2.
Yeah, definite in the top 5. But Willow
That's insane.
was like a computer science nerd girl. Didn't have much going on in her life.
Yeah.
She discovered witchcraft. She became the world's most powerful witch.
While going to college.
While going through high school, through college,
And
experiencing death.
She got an evil arc, and then she gets
Yeah.
her redemption arc.
She
You know what?
gained power, learned how to control it. Hecate literally, oh, you're the daughter of Zeus. Oh, that must be so easy to
Yeah.
control your
Yeah.
powers.
You know what, Simone? Honestly, I think if you were familiar with Willow, you might shift this way. Because,
But
like,
that's the thing. If you're not familiar with a certain television show, then you don't feel as strong. But because
Yep.
of the lore, like, because of how powerful Hecate is, it's attached to things that even I have seen. Like, that's the power of it. And it's a way more widespread, like, number 1 witch to me because of that.
I will say,
You're
I did not
biased.
hear about Hecate until tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how widespread.
well, get ready to
Hecate-
be cursed.
But you had a list of things that you've definitely seen who have been inspired.
You know what?
Sure, yeah.
Simone, can I ask you a question?
Please do.
What is more impressive to you? A being that was born immortal and all-powerful and has always existed that way? Or a being who was born mortal, learned how to become immortal, and the most powerful being on the planet?
But isn't part of being a witch something that you are inherently born with?
I mean,
She has that, I think.
she was born with the gift to, like, you
Yeah.
know, do magic, but she learned not only the power of magic, got it to a dark place, learned how to control it, and then became more powerful. Hecate, I'm not familiar with the legend, but maybe she didn't have the same sort of. She was just kind of handed
But a lot
that
of people
and
have
just
that
knew
arc.
what to do with it.
A lot
Yeah.
of people have that arc.
Not the way Willow does.
I'm going to go Team Willow just to cut through this. And, I know, you're steaming. You're steaming. But here's the thing. I think Hecate is the number 1 witch of all time. I'm still very much on that team. But here's what I'm switching, because we're talking about our top 5. And Willow is my personal favorite witch. So if I'm going personal favorites, it is Willow Rosenberg. Because I can tell you're never going to sway.
Hey, I have another analogy here.
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's say Hecate is like God in the witch world.
She
is
is.
that fair to say?
yeah.
Hecate is God.
The Wick of the Pagans, we pray to Hecate.
So when we see, you know, like on Earth, the work, people who are inspired by God, it's the people who do the work. It's not God that does the work. In this case, it is Willow who is inspired by this God and does the work, does the things in reality.
Hecate provides the power.
Provides the power,
Yeah.
but Willow is the action doing, and I'm always going to rank action over source.
Simone's stunned right now.
No, because I'm not going. I'm just. I will have the number 1 for the people,
The people.
and you can all get smited, and I'm going to lift the curse of my day. This day has been cursed for me, and I'm lifting that now by picking Hecate as my personal number
right,
1.
I see.
All right.
My personal number 1.
That's a smart move.
And
in
this,
the group, number 1.
and I will let you all fall to your doom
All right.
and pick and place Hecate at number 2.
I will say I am with like Braeden in the sense that I am much more impressed with the people on the ground floor than I am with just the magical god deity, like whatever it is. It's like, yeah, you were born this way. This is just who you are.
But without Hecate, they wouldn't do the work because it wouldn't exist.
That's okay. Like I'm not gonna
Chicken egg.
I don't know.
Thing.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, I'm an
Yeah.
egg, baby.
You're an egg. Yeah.
Listeners, I hope you're having your own personal debate right now.
Yeah, they are.
Good.
They are.
Good.
We're really just like debating religion versus like.
That's why I was like, I'm not going back.
It's like, I don't know if I don't mean that way. So
All right.
All right. Shall
At
we
the
do
end
it?
of the day, Hecate might not be real, but Willow is real.
Oh my
Willow.
Willow's real.
I mean, she's so great. And
You're gonna
like,
get struck by lightning.
and you know who can throw lightning out of her hands? Willow Rosenberg.
Oh, yeah.
I'm into it.
All right, here's the list. And we're all going to be very happy about it. Number 5, Mary Poppins. Number 4, Ursula. Number 3, Baba Yaga. Number 2, Hecate. And number 1, Willow Rosenberg. Woo!
Oh.
I ruined it with my woo.
That cur.
It was good.
That cur.
Her poison apple.
All right. That is a very strong list of witches, I think. How about we go around and I'll have Simone. Can you list all of your witches on your honorable mentions?
Whoa, that's fast. Yeah, all of my witches on my honorable mentions. I think I'm just gonna go with one that I can remember off the top of my head, and it's Cosmo and Wanda.
Oh, cool. Yes.
You know, Fairly Odd Parents, because anytime, like, right now behind Hayley is like a pink paw print and a green dish, and I just keep thinking, like, they're always with us, Cosmo and Wanda. And they're always with, I feel like everywhere I look, like, they're so ingrained, and they were so fun, and it was just like definitely
Are
like
they
a
more
childhood.
fairies than they are witches? Not that.
Are they? I mean, I don't know. I just call them, to me, they're very witchy with their
Yeah,
powers.
Sure.
And there's a debate between the Fae and witches. Like, you
yeah.
think of the Lady of the Lake from the Arthur legends. People think that she's a witch. She is also described as a fairy. So I'm fine with this. I'm fine with
Yeah.
this.
That's a whole conversation we
Yeah.
don't need to get into
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
Yeah. And
Once
like,
we get started about the Fae, we
Yeah, oh
gotta
my
be careful.
it's dangerous territory.
Yeah. Anything else, Simone?
I mean, also just shout out to every witch that was burned, and also shout out to the witch.
Yeah, for my
moment. Give them a moment, Simone.
I got scared. That they
Barely a pause. Shout out to
the witches that were burned. Salem hears for one. They're paused for 1 second.
not even a second.
The Bell Witch is coming for you now.
No, I put Hecate as number one. Dang it! I did it for a reason.
Oh, so good, so good.
Yikes! I don't even remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
If it comes back to you, let us.
The Monty Python witch with the turnip on her nose.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Shout
not
out.
a witch.
Witch.
That's good.
A duck.
That is good. Braeden, list them all.
Yeah, you bet. I had this one fits Hayley's rule. Tia Dalma, sorry. She was the witch in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Brought Barbossa back from the dead. Went to the end of the world, saved Captain Jack, all that great stuff. And then also turned out to be a god, Calypso, at the end.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I completely forgot about that part of the movie.
Yeah. No, she's great.
It's a saga. It's a saga.
Original trio is great, and she's an integral part of it. Wicked Witch of the West, we didn't mention.
What the heck?
Even like from the musical Wicked or the later version, I think
But
they're
she's
both
stinky.
great.
Ends with an A.
She's stinky
Yeah.
because she can't
Alphaba?
shower.
Alphaba.
I like another good witch was Kiki from Kiki's Delivery
Oh,
Service.
such a good witch.
She's such a good witch, but she wasn't really powerful, so I didn't put her on the list. But
that's a-
she's very sweet.
Kiki's
and
Delivery Service,
lovable.
Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Yes.
And yeah, I'll do some rapid fire. Mal Dyer, who I mentioned earlier, she died in Leonardtown, Maryland, and the rock that she died on is still said to cause like illness when you touch
Yeah,
it.
has her hands and knees imprinted into the rock. So
Yes.
spooky.
That's really
That
cool.
is spooky.
And last but not least, did you know there's witches in the Bible, which
Yes.
I found fascinating? And one of them that was really interesting was the witch of Endor.
Yep.
I won't go too
Whoa.
into it, but look it up.
It's a very
Read your
cool-
Bibles, everybody, especially
I
after
will
listening
not.
to this.
I will not.
No, me neither. I'll be reading the Necronomicon.
The Book of the Dead.
That's right.
Wizards of Waverly Place.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Mine is just Selena Gomez, okay? Just her.
There you go. There you go.
Go ahead, Hayley. I know you have a lot.
All right, I do. My first alternate that I was so tempted to bring forward instead of the Evil Queen was Kotick and Kume from The Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I would have put them top 5.
Oh my gosh, they are my favorites. I love them. They're
Twin
such good-
Rovas.
The Twin Rovas. I will also have the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff.
Yes. She was the one that I was going to say.
yeah.
Was that what you thought I was going
I
to say?
thought you were going to say Sabrina Spellman.
Oh yeah.
Because you were
Oh,
talking
my
about
gosh.
the same genres of
Yeah.
television shows.
She was up there.
She's up there.
She was up there.
So Wanda, I'll also put Morgan Le Fay from the Arthurian legends in there. Here's the rest of my list. I'll wander through them quickly. Jinx Monsoon.
Amazing.
Yeah, she
witch.
describes herself as a witch frequently on Drag Race. Gruntilda Winky Bunyan from Banjo-Kazooie, also known as Grunty.
Great name.
Marie Laveau, the voodoo witch of the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans.
Yes, I love her.
Yes, La Befana, the Christmas witch from Italian folklore who delivers presents to kids on Epiphany Eve, Jan 5th. Grandmama Eudora Adams, who is the mother of Gomez. Mad Madam Mim, the shape-shifting witch from The Sword and the Stone.
Oh, yes. That's,
The witch from Hansel and Gretel, who I know nothing about, but is the witch that freaked me out the most as a kid.
Totally.
Lilith, the Salem witches. I have Chepide, Hilda and Zelda Spellman, the witch from Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Eglantine Price, Stevie Nicks, though if she's a witch, that's debatable. Nancy Downs from The Craft, Yubaba from Spirited Away.
oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Fabulous witch. And then Queen Beryl, the leader of the Dark Kingdom, the one and only most iconic villain from Sailor Moon.
Yes, yes. I had to Google it for a while. I was like, does Sailor Moon count as a witch? She doesn't, unfortunately. She's more like a...
No, they're
There's a
their
whole
own
anime class of like magical girls. That's like an actual genre in anime. That's a whole other thing that we won't get into.
Yes.
Great list.
Thank you.
Great
Queen
list.
Beryl, definitely a witch.
All right, I'll just rapid fire ones. Let's see. Maleficent. I think Maleficent's more iconic than the Evil Queen, personally. But
Also, technically not a witch. She's a dark fairy.
is she?
Yeah, she is.
Says
I did
who?
my... But
Says who?
the cool thing about Maleficent, as a Disney villain, she was the only one who actually, like, worshipped the devil, which I thought was kind of cool.
So she deserves to be a witch.
Yes,
Is what-
exactly. Yeah, it could go either way.
Scarlet Witch was one of like the high-ranking ones, but it's just like I don't know how that would have played in this. You know what I mean? Like
if you'd brought it up, I think
would've-
you and I probably could have had a good debate about Wanda, because I think she is
she kicks ass.
an incredibly powerful witch. If we were going just on power,
She wins.
she wins.
Yeah.
She wins. We
Not
did
the
not.
powerful, most powerful Hecate. No.
She's no Willow Rosenberg. Yeah, Sabrina, Alphaba from Wicked, the Macbeth Witch.
Oh, the
Yeah,
witches, the
the
weird
witches,
sisters,
yeah.
the weird
Oh,
sisters.
The weird sisters.
Oh man, the Macbeth
Also-
tragedy of Macbeth, the one
with
with
Trouble.
Denzel, so good. That the whole witch scene is incredible.
Yeah, they're the Fates, the three sisters.
Yeah,
so
they're
cool.
in Hercules as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. I almost
Do the
brought them
Fates
up.
count as witches?
They're witches.
Yeah,
the weird
totally.
sisters are based on the Fates,
I
and so
love
they
it.
are witches.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, then
Life and death.
those ones. I nominate those ones. Melisandre from Game of Thrones, the Red. What do they call her? The Red Woman or something like that. Anyways, Marge Simpson in any
Marge
of the
Simpson?
Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Typically turns witchy.
That's hilarious.
Video game one, Bayonetta, Yennefer in The Witcher, the White Witch in Narnia.
Ooh, yes. Oh, I've
Who is based
totally
on
forgot.
Lilith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think those are my witchies.
Did anybody bring up like Bewitched, like Elizabeth the Twinkly Twitchy the Nose?
No.
She should also
Because
be on
I
there.
usto run around as a kid like twitching my nose because of that show. Mm-hmm. It's a very important one too. I feel like.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
I haven't
Affirmed,
seen it.
affirmed.
Oh, Bellatrix, I guess, if we're going to do one more Harry Potter one, maybe.
Maybe she's
I
so-
almost said Hermione, but then I left it.
Yeah.
And Minerva is
She's better. These are honorable mentions. Honorable mentions.
oh, man.
Now they're just turning into just mentions. They're not even honorable mentions.
There's no honor in my mention.
I think it's like obligatory mentions.
Yeah, it's just like now I'm just naming as many witches that I can think of.
Yep. All the witches.
Would witch doctors have counted for this?
Witch
list?
doctors?
Yeah, because witch doctors is a whole class of
Yeah, it is.
For
witch
example.
I
things.
would say.
I think I'm right now. That's coming to mind as like World of Warcraft type of stuff that nobody here would care about. But like, there's like trolls and stuff that are considered witch doctors, and they have really like, you know what I'm talking about, Simone?
It's like it was like the alternative medicine of the
Alternative
1800s,
medicine,
like coming
yeah.
with the big, like the
Yeah.
big. What's that mask?
yeah. See, I didn't
The
want to
plague
say 'cause
doctors.
Yeah.
It feels very
Yes.
Top 5 witch doctors.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels very tribal, I guess. Like the witch doctor stuff. There's really like wooden masks and lots of like
Well,
feathers and like
it's-
cauldrons and
Yeah, very the
medicine.
apothecary side
Yeah.
of witchcraft.
Even among witches, there's like pagan witches who
Totally.
worship pagan gods, but there's also like demonic witches who worship
Yeah.
Satan.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a vast cast of
Yeah.
witches. out there.
It's
Cast.
this whole argument is why I didn't bring up Marie Laveau at first, because she's voodoo.
Yeah. See, that's
Yeah,
closer
exactly.
to that.
I
Witch
just
doctor.
brought her up, too,
Tia
and
Dalma
it
from
was Voodoo
Pirates of the
specifically.
Caribbean is
Yeah.
also kind of in that realm.
I would count
Yeah.
her as a witch doctor, honestly.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
anyways, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's Willow, everyone.
Yeah.
It's Willow.
Willow, wait.
Yep.
Simone, thank you for being on the pod. Thank you for flying all this way in your guacamole bowl or whatever.
Yes, my pleasure.
What are you up to these days? Do you have anything to plug for people at home?
I will soon be putting out an EP.
Oh.
I will. It will be called Wavy.
Okay.
And my name will be just Simone on Spotify. You can look it up. It'll be coming out very shortly. Keep an eye out for it.
Wait, you got Just Simone on Spotify as like as a tag, as a thing?
She's a
betcha.
witch.
How did you get that? That wasn't taken?
No, it is taken, but I'm just gonna I'm just gonna risk it and hopefully get more listens and win.
Yeah.
And claim the name Simone.
Yes.
I love that. When's that coming? Soon.
Soon. TBD, but very soon, within the next few months.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Oh, I miss your singing. That's great.
I maybe have heard
Yeah.
some from this album.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. It's so good. You're so talented.
Simone's a very good singer.
Oh my
everyone.
goodness. Wow.
This is really...
Yeah, I got to go into the studio and hear a sample from your wonderful music production team, and it's really good.
Oh.
And we're about to get a live sample, right?
Baba Yaga.
This one's called Baba Yaga.
It's just go
Yaga dabba doo.
Braeden, what do you have for the people at home?
I have a lot of stand-up shows in October, but by the time you listen to this, that's
Oh, it would be over.
it's
yeah.
irrelevant.
Yeah. How did they go, by the way, now that the show...
Oh,
yeah.
they all went as perfect as stand-up shows always do. Of course. If you want to check me out, I have a website. It's www.braedenetienne.com, and on there I usually post poems I publish or stories I publish, and maybe comedy that I publish. So just check in there and you'll see what's up.
Thank you, Braeden.
Sorry, that's Braeden Etienne.
That's it.
Booted.
Hayley, what do you have to plug?
Yeah, well, like Braeden, a lot of my stuff is happening in October. But anyways, just because October's over doesn't mean you can't go and celebrate the Guelph Comedy Festival. Check out the website. We're hoping to have more things throughout the year, but it's every October. So when you listen to this on the anniversary of this being released, you will have just come from the Guelph Comedy Festival. And it's going to be great, and I can't wait to hear about it. But beyond that, I'm part of an improv troupe called the Flemmies. We've shortened it to the Flemmies now.
Oh, it's official that you're
It's
the Flemmies.
official. We've become the Flemmies, so you can find us on Instagram at the Flemmies.
That's
not to be
hilarious.
confused with Irma Gerd's drag troupe, the Flem Fatales. We're also that, but now we're just the Flemmies. So check us out on Instagram. We're going to be having some monthly shows out of fabulous Guelph venue.
Amazing. Amazing. For myself, you can find the rest of the shows in the PodCavern at www.podcavern.com. Thank you for listening for today's spooky episode, I guess. Even though it's past Halloween, doesn't matter. This group here, we just have that witchy nature inside of us that we had to just share with you guys. So with that, let's get out of here on our brooms. Well, you got a guacamole bowl.
Yeah.
I got a Roomba. You two, I have no idea what you're writing.
I'm just going to...
Tape car.
And I'll be here boiling a cauldron.
That's right. All right. Baba Yagadoo, everyone. Baba Yagadoo. That's a witch.
Yes.